Hi, everybody. We're live. It's Lisa from Sweet and Sassy Treasures, and it's Tuesday, meaning it is time for some fun creative project. I'm live every Tuesday and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what you see, I also have a creative membership group that's called the Sweet and Sassy Creative Lab, and I would love to have you check that out. You can find information on my website, www.sweetandsassytreasures.com. Today, I thought we would use some Easter eggs that I found in my stash, and we're going to make something festive because Sunday's Easter. So I'm going to flip my camera and I'm going to get started. This is the paper I'm using today. The easiest way to find the products that I use is to go to my online store and under the shop button, select this week's live products. I try and do a really good job of keeping up with that. Hey girls, thank you for being here. So long story. I'm having to clean up around here. We got lots going on. And so I've been going through some stuff and I found these Easter eggs that I actually even remember having them made. I have 2 sets available. We're going to use the third set today on the live. And this one I think is about 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches, something like that. And so we're going to use the paper on the 2 larger of the eggs, and then I'm going to use molds on the little egg. So we're actually going to start with the molds because those are going to need time to dry. So I've already base coated. I'm going to start on this side. I've already base coated the small little egg. And what I want to do is I want to cover it using the trimmings mold. And if you don't have an egg shape, you can still do this by laying out the trimmings molds and then just, while the clay's still moist, cut around into an egg shape. And you could do that right on top of a board. Are they on your site? They are. Okay, so I'm going to want to fill this. I'm going to get my air dry clay out. Sorry for the noise. Those little noises really bother me. And I'm going to use varying sizes of the mold. So the top part, I'm not going to get much of it. So I'm going to want to use something that really doesn't have like a repeating pattern and something a little bit on the smaller side. So I think I'd be able to use this one right here. You can see some of them are already cornstarched. So this is leftover clay from yesterday that I was using. And I don't need a lot. It's going to get loud when my dogs get back home, you guys, because they were at the groomer and Ken went to pick them up. Whoops. Do I have the tight bond? Yep, right there. Okay. So after I get that part done, I'll just take a card and just smooth out the back so that it lays flat. So I think that'll be pretty. Can you see the detail on that one? There we go. So I'm going to put that at the very top.
Were you doing all molds on that one?
Yep, all molds.
I love it.
I thought about spacing them out so they looked more like
Hi, Sherry and Shane and Tana.
more like an Easter egg, but then I decided not to. So So I need to trim that. I'll just take this. So I'm just going to flip this over and carefully, without smushing it,
You're brave.
trim. Yeah, I'm not sure that that worked. And I'll get the glue out of there in a second. And now I should be able to just smooth that over. I'm going to pull that glue into the next piece. I'm going to want to go a little wider. I think I'm going to do this piece right here. I don't want to use that clay that has glue on it, so I'll sacrifice that. And again, I don't need a big piece. I think I'm a little too close. There we go. And this is trimmings 1. This is trimmings 1. Trimmings 4 is my favorite, hands down, no question. Trimmings 2, I tend to use the rope element probably more than anything else. Now I forgot to cornstarch this one, which was not real bright. The first one already had cornstarch on it, so I actually wasn't thinking.
Let's see. It'll pop right out for you.
Yeah. The other thing I like to do is just kind of take the card and flatten that back too. That works kind of nicely. Flip it over and peel back. And with cornstarch, they pop right out.
Yay.
So I'm going to take the glue that's already on there. Just add some more. It's easier to add it to the surface than the clay, I think, but that's not always possible.
Can't believe you're getting that all over your hands.
I know, right?
Glue and clay. Ooh.
So next, I think I'm going to use this one right here because I like the detail on that. And it's narrower. Now there is some cornstarch on there. So I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit. So the reason I decided to do all the trimming pieces on the small egg was that the rice paper fit really well on the larger eggs and less work, right?
You're so smart.
A new weed eater. Woo! You know what? I know that it's going to require more cornstarch than that, as much as I'd love to think that there's enough there.
There's something to eat your wheat.
I need one of those.
We need one.
Jeez, I hate weeds. I mean, I don't think anybody likes them, but way more clay than I need here.
remember if we did anything with the set of these eggs before. We must have.
We must have, yeah.
Sure, you decoupage something on them.
Now this puppy will just pop right out. Look at that. What happens when you use the correct amount of cornstarch. Just put that one up there. I'm going to pinch this off so that I don't have too much excess on there. So my favorite trimming piece is this one right here. That's on Trimmings 2. One of the other things I like about Trimmings 2 is the variety of the widths. Classic Elements also has a trimmings piece. It is a thin little bead, which I use often, and it's really good for a filler in something like this, where I may run out of room to use the wider one. Hello, Carol. Hi, Tracy. A goat, yeah. Everybody needs a goat. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Tana. Monta, Shane. Okay, put this in here. Let's see, that should be long enough. And this one's smooth, so that's going to look good with the busier pieces. And those are drying a little bit, and it'll make it easier for me to trim them off. Doesn't that look good? Now, I have room for either a bigger piece like this, which would probably take me to the bottom, or even this. And that's probably what I'm going to do. That's just a small piece of black resin on there. Let's see. I think I want I'm going to go with this one right here because it's definitely wide enough and it's a different texture than all the rest of them. Could end up being a little wide. I'm lying. The lack of symmetry on that is going to bother me. So let me look. Trimmings 3 has some really cool stuff. That one would work, but I'm going to use this one here. So I'll have Pam get the heat gun on this so that it gets a crust on it. Not ideal. I would really like to let it sit for a lot longer than we have in Alive. You know, overnight is like perfect. But at least a crust on there will be good.
Is it ready to be crusted?
Not yet. I think that's wide enough. Let's see. Nope, a little short. That should be good. Getting that out. Should pop right out. So here's that trimmings piece on Classic Elements. I use this a lot. Just a small little bead of good stuff. All right, this should take it. All the way down.
So cute.
Perfect. I won't need this.
Your nail girl will be cringing right now.
Oh, they're always, the black resin never comes off. All right, let's see. Flip it over. And ideally, I don't really like to use an X-Acto knife because it ruins the blade, but I'm gonna have to ruin the blade for the sake of the project here. Oops. Oops, a little bit more down. Gently turn it. And I'll just curve those edges. So that they are egg-shaped.
Perfecto.
Okay.
Looks good.
So all I need is to get a crust on there. Give you that. And we are going to move on to the next part. Zoom back out. We got our girl here. I'm going to start with the smaller one because I'm going to need the room to work on the larger one. So I'm going to cut this about to where I want to use it. And I'm gonna want the bunny ears and all, right? So, oh, here they are. So I'm gonna want to go to about right here. Should leave me enough room on the other one. Hi, how was the groomer? Huh? You're so chunky, huh, little girl? All right, we are going to use here with the patina to get pasta. And I already painted it white. This is natural wood, unfinished. There we go. Actually, I like this position better than even where I had it originally. A little bit more. So I bit the bullet, you guys, and I do have Classic Elements in stock. I love it. Oh, we probably should put those on this week's live products, Pam.
What is it? 1, 2, 3 in Classic Elements?
Yeah, Classic Elements I didn't use, but I got the egg on and everything. So that's going to be really good. So I'm just going to set that aside. Now we're going to go to this one. I'm getting the link. Here's the link to Classic Elements. It's one of those, that is hands down the mold I use the most. Out of the trimmings mold, I use trimmings 2 the most, but the mold itself that I use the most is Classic Elements. When anybody asks, like, which is one that you can't live without, there's just so many good things on there, and that little element being one of them. But the piece that I use to mimic book hinges is super valuable as well. Okay, I'm going to have to go to where the edge is. Oops.
Oh yeah, the Primitives mold has a nice thin trim piece too that Carol said.
Why is that not ringing a bell for me? I could have shifted this down a little bit, which is exactly what I'm going to do.
Hello, ladies.
I want a little bit more space between the top of the egg and my little girl's head.
It is a sweet paper.
Now I got it. There we go. I don't recommend doing that, but rice paper is a lot safer than any other paper to attempt to reposition. Okay. Now we're going to dry these little puppies.
I like them. Oops, I didn't hang your thing back up. Sorry.
That's all right. Pam and I are trying to pick out the menu for the art retreat.
Yes, we are.
No small task, I might add.
The pictures that they were made for those eggs.
Yeah, it's crazy how they fit perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm going to need some prairie gray.
The moon, yep. Oh boy.
It's in a jar, if that helps. I'll show you guys. Oh, I can do that right now. So cottage colors have been around for a long time. And I just had never used them. So when they got new colors, I didn't really pay attention. So Vincente asked me to order her some.
I love the colors so much.
And I'm so excited that I got some extras. You know what I don't have is the yellow for you guys and for myself. And I hope these colors show up good enough. So this is a one step, meaning that it does not need sealer. So look at this color right here. This is called Veranda.
So
That's beautiful. It's the exact color that's in these roses right here. Veranda. I'm going to place another order because I didn't get nearly enough.
I love this.
Then
color
this is
too.
called Barn Quilt. And it's not as red. It's more of a, let me see if I can tone this
I didn't
down.
even explain that color. It's beautiful.
It's not red. It's more of a pinky maroon or pinky burgundy kind of.
Oh yeah, it looks brighter. It's not bright like that. It's
No,
beautiful,
it's not.
Beautiful.
And I don't want to
muted.
take the lid off because I don't have enough. And these colors together, there's a good color picture of it, holding it on an angle like that. But then look at this color called Honey. And the three of those together, so pretty. And then in the off-white family, there's Provincial, which is a putty kind of color. That's exactly what it looks like, what you see right there. And then Plaster. So I'm going to place another order and get more in. I have some of every color to sell, but not a lot. But I'm super excited about these. That yellow, oh, it's like between cake batter and queen bee.
Perfect.
All right, now I'm gonna sand.
I see a project using those paints. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna just slide this over the edge. It's so weird. I feel like the older I get, the less I want to try new things. So it's like, I gotta get used to how it goes on. How is it gonna act with paint inlays? With transfers, it's nice because it's one step. You gotta be careful when you're pulling like I'm doing because some of the papers really have a lot of fiber. And I've ripped the paper doing that. Come on the other way. Well, I need new sandpaper. But this is 120 grit. I'm not sure I have any more. Yeah, it's so stinking sweet. So sweet.
Sure is.
Move this over here so I don't hit myself. I'm hitting the table right here, which is why I can't get a good swipe at it. Oh, there's a fiber right there. I can see it.
You don't want to pull on that.
No. I don't know if I want tarnished pearl or crinoline. Not sure which color I see. My paper's still really pretty wet. Lots of fibers in here. I could pull, but I'm afraid to. I don't know what brand it is, but one of them, really, the fibers are really not terrible when you encounter one. There we go. Phew, that was a workout. So those are those two. And then I'm trying to decide, this is Mama's Damask. And I want to bring that might not be the one I want to use. Okay, let me see here. This one.
I do too.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to use a darker color first. So I'm going to start with Prairie Gray.
That's what I said. The eggs and the paper look like they were meant to go together with the way the flowers curve. It's amazing. They look beautiful.
Garden Sage. Is that a green, Denise?
Oh.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm really just going to go around the outside, kind of like that is. There isn't an upside right, but there is an upside right for me. Okay. So this is Prairie Gray. Just pulling just a little bit of that in there. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. This is called Calabria, something like that. I'm going to actually spin this way. And then just pull a little bit in over here. There we go.
Yes, Carol said I've used this stencil on several projects. I love it. It's
Yeah,
very
me too. It's definitely tarnished pearl and not crinoline. What else might look really pretty is Prom Queen because of the blue. Do you mind grabbing me Prom Queen, Pam?
No, I don't.
Let me dry these. Move my stencil out of the way so it doesn't melt. Yes, no, it's in a bottle of some sort. Now, I should have big tapped these. That's a step that I forgot. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I was working out of the lid.
Yeah.
Good enough. Oops. I got a new stencil brush. I really like the wider one, but now the hard part is figuring out where I started. So I look for one of the shapes. Nope, definitely started on this side. Oops. I think this is pretty close if I can find where it repeats. Oh boy. I knew I should have paid better attention. Ding, ding, ding. We're close to having a winner. Right like that, at least for that area. So I'm going in with Prom Queen. That's weird. This sucks, you guys, not knowing what I used.
You're lining it up.
Not very good. At least I know it's somewhere that has, brown paint on it. And I don't need to get all of it. Go in here. And then Tarnished Pearl will be last. So annoying. Like a little V shape like that.
Like a puzzle.
Yep. Ooh. That's pretty good right there. So I want it to be multi-dimensional, which is why I'm going in with layers of color. Now we're just kind of guessing because, like, this is absolutely no fun. Look at how pretty that looks, though. Oh, the side. It's actually going the opposite way, though. Like, it looks like it's that right there. It's annoying me, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to dry those, and then we're going to play that really fun game again with Tarnished Pearl. Because Tarnished Pearl has the right tones, Crinoline is just too creamy. And I'm just going to use that same brush. This is so not enjoying this. Right here. This right here. At least I know that part lines up. Okay, so this is Tarnished Pearl. Let's see here. I gotta switch brushes. My brush is pulling up too much of the Prom Queen. And that third dimension really makes such a difference. I can't explain it, but Tarnished Pearl has kind of a gel-like consistency. So it's a different beast. So I'm gonna pounce it to get more color transfer. There we go. I think that's pretty good for that one. Pretty happy with that. Thanks, Diane. Well, this is the guy that's the harder one to match up. It goes there. Just love it. It's really annoying me over here that I can't figure this one out. So I'm just gonna have to kind of guess. So what I'm going to do is grab somewhere where I have a lot of detail. And I need some more Tarnished Pearl. Come on. I think I'll go right in here. I'm not going to get exactly the same look because I'm not lining up perfectly. There we go. I'm going to dry both of these. The last thing is going to be fine line crackle on these. I'm going to seal them with Big Top first. I need to just tone those down a little. So note to self, use the same part of the stencil so that you can find where you used it. Highly recommend that. I'm going to dry these, paint the sides black, and then they will get crackled. Then when you seal it, it's just those layers. Like, look at the layers right there. When you line it up, it's so cool. Okay, let's move on to this guy. I'm going to start with a weathered wood. A weathered wood wash, which it's going to be a little bit challenging with the clay not being dry. Weathered wood just gives you a beautiful antiquing color. Why do I think I have one of these open already? Hold on, you guys. Sorry. Because I'm not using a lot and I'm not painting with it, I'm going to try to get some out of this container. I got away from these containers because the paint dries so quickly in them. And I don't need a lot. Ugh. So that's a bunch of dried paint in there. But I have to look and see. I don't know if I've got a can open. Frustrating. All right, I'm going to use a soft brush because clay's not dry. I want to make sure I get it in the low points. should try something that has a longer handle on it. Here we go. Okay, now I should be better. But I want to wipe this back, and that wet clay is not going to make that easy. So I may have to finish this after the clay dries. And the other thing about working on wet clay is I'm losing detail with it too, right? Because the brush is smushing out the detail. And I could have used resin, but I would have needed to give it a lot more thought than the hour before to get everything cast. But we'll see what happens. If I have to stop wiping back, I will. I'm really losing detail here. I'm going to go to Plan B.
It's always good to have a plan B.
Yeah,
I missed plan A because I was doing orders.
I'm gonna leave this brown, and I'm gonna let it dry, and I'm gonna seal it with Big Top. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'll just have to post a picture of this when it's done.
What color are you using?
I'll use tarnished pearl on it. Might add some rust. Okay, I need black. And then do you mind giving me the 2-part fine line? It's on that cabinet in the back. Please, pretty please, with sugar on top. Hello, Lisa. So this has been sealed with Big Top. We're just going to go in, paint the sides black, which that's just my go-to. You may have, preferred a color or brown because there's no really black in the paper. And I get that.
Hi, Lisa. Better late than never.
was a lofty goal. Do you want to do 3 eggs today?
Yes. Yes, the paper is adorable, Lisa.
Okay. So I have to do the sides before the fine line crackle. It just wouldn't make sense to do it the opposite way because I'd be painting over whatever crackle flowed over the sides. And inevitably it will. Almost there. Yay. And I'd paint the back of these too. Okay, let's dry those. What I didn't do.
Run it along the top.
Not the best brush for this.
Thanks for the hearts.
Don't let me forget to prep a tile for tomorrow. I don't want to end up in the same boat of not having it dry. So I like to do that top edge. Just bring it onto the paper just a little bit. I'll wipe a lot of that back. It just makes it look more finished. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Okay. Now, when I dry it, it'll make sense. So the egg, after that dries, like tomorrow, before I go live, I'll put a coat of Big Top, and then I will put some tarnished pearl and white back. So it's going to leave just a vignette. difference, right?
I'm gonna crack-a-lack it.
Yeah. It is an egg after all.
Yes, it is.
Watch out, Tootie. I always get these confused. This is part 1, the white.
They don't say part 1 and part 2 on them.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I was gonna say that'd be weird.
Oh, come on. Oh, clearly I did not wipe this lid.
Come on.
There it goes. Phew. That's quite the workout. And you want to make sure that you got a generous coat. You don't want to pull it too much. If you pull it, it won't crack. This is the part that actually cracks. Component 2 does the cracking. So component 1 is the surface that cracks, and component 2 is the crack agent, if you will.
Gotcha. You know what, Tracy? I just covered my phone with texture. Guess I can't watch and craft at the same time.
Yeah, yesterday I splattered and my computer paid the price for it.
Oh no. Your good computer?
No, I was able to fix my old one.
Oh good.
And you can force dry Pentart's crackle, but you can't always force dry all crackles. And I can't speak for ones that I don't use.
Hello, Joan.
But you have to make sure that this piece gets dried to the point of being clear.
Before you put the other one on.
Yep.
I don't know how you keep your crackles all straight.
I swear this is just glue. It's what it smells like. So I will see if I can dry one of them, but I will just put part 2 on after part 1 dries and then finish this tomorrow. But I'll see if I can get this to show you what it needs to look like. You don't want to hold your heat source too close. It'll cause it to bubble. I'm going to have some bubbles just from the application process, but that's different than the bubbles caused by my heat gun. So you can see it's pretty clear in some spots. That means it's dry. Getting there. So I think you get the idea. You know, that's dry right there. And it's going to have quite a sheen on it, and versus that hasn't dried at all yet. But I will get component 2 on, and then tomorrow all I will have to do, and I'll do it on camera, is age it. And we'll look at the finished product, and then we will do a tile. So this needs to dry until it's clear. Then I'll put part 2 on, which is this. Let that dry. A lot of times you have to apply heat to get the cracks to do what you want them to do. A lot of people will say the crackle didn't work. And for one, it's fine line, so it's hard to see unless you tilt it correctly to the, or in the right sweet spot with the light. But then the other thing is when you apply heat, it will always crack. So that's the other part. So I'm going to let all of this dry, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here.